What's up, guys? It's your boy Nerd Copyist back at again with another video, and today, from the title, we have a project that I only announced on my Instagram. So if you're not following my Instagram, links down in the description. But yes, I announced this a long time ago when I bought it off Banggood for around $53. I'm not entirely sure when it was or how much it was exactly, but around $53. I had a little discount with some Banggood points, and I got this thing. This is the Wing Classic. So pretty much the cheaper, almost do-it-yourself. The whole plane, literally the fuselage comes in two halves. You have to glue in all these compartments, all these wood pieces. Everything literally comes pretty much unassembled, and you have to glue everything. And I was gonna make a build tutorial on that because honestly, when I was searching up the Wing Classic, there really was no build tutorial. Truly though, the manual, it's very simple, but if you pay attention to the numbers and where they go, it is very easy to glue this thing together. I will say I think the hardest part about gluing this thing together is just making sure everything stays compressed to ensure maximum bondage so that it doesn't come apart mid-flight. Not saying that will happen to you, but you just don't want it to happen. That's pretty much it. But read the manual slowly and look at the numbers. If you buy the Wing kit Classic, you know what I'm talking about. Look at the numbers, look where they go, because there's actually a couple things that I actually did wrong here, and it's mainly in the front where I was actually supposed to glue something before I glue something else, and I was being too rushed, and I thought I knew what I was doing, and now this little nose piece that's a little funny, but still works. Alright, so we're gonna go through this. As you guys know, this is an INAV build. This is replacing my Reptile S800. Video links up here of what happened to my S800 that was sadly gone. But this is replacing my S800. I was thinking about buying an S800, but then I had a poll on Instagram, and people said buy the Wing Classic kit, or just the Wing in general. And I said, you know what, that is honestly probably the better choice if I want to do super long range. My Reptile wasn't really long range, it was just more of a mid range. This is running a line, but you guys will see that behind me in a second. So on to the build overview, and stay with me. The reason why I didn't make a tutorial step by step of how to build this plane from scratch was because I actually broke the glass on the back of my S10 Plus's camera, and it just made it very bad, and the glass would go over the camera, and it was just bad. But yeah, I broke the glass. I'm honestly gonna film this with no glass over the camera, so whatever you're seeing from the camera, there's literally no glass in front of it. I tried cleaning it, so let's hope this is good enough. It's a little bit blurry. I'm so sorry. I don't want to make this. I want to make this video now so that if I do, for some reason, lose this plane or crash it to the ground, I at least have proof, like my Reptile, that I had it with me physically and finished. Alright, let's get behind me and let's do this. Alright, now on to the actual build overview part, and right here, and we just have everything lined up of all the parts I'm using, and everything's all good. So this is an Wing Classic kit, and the Classic is pretty much just a cheaper kit of just a normal Wing. They're both the same platform, just the price difference of them is much more cheaper. The main difference between the Wing kit, the normal one, and the Classic, like it says right there, is this one comes fully, and I mean fully disassembled. The fuselage comes in two parts. You have to make this wood pieces. You have to glue all these wood pieces in. You have to put the wing nuts for the screws. You have to screw in these vertical stabilizers. You have to actually, what else is there? You actually have to glue in these spar connectors and servo covers on the same side, these motor mounts, and also obviously the motor mount and other stuff like that. But you know what I mean. It pretty much is, you pretty much have to start from scratch, as if like they all came off the mold and all the wooden parts were cut out, and you just have to put them together. So that's what I have here, and it's honestly worth it. This build is not hard at all, I promise you. Like I said in the beginning, if you just pay attention to the numbers, you will see that it redirects you to everything, and just once you see where these parts go, it is so much easier. It's so much more easier to put this thing together that it's really, really, really easy. I'm not even joking about that. It looks confusing, but if you pay attention to where the number and the parts go, it's really easy. Well, with mine that said, I don't really remember that if I said this in the intro, because I'm actually recording this part in a different day and the outro in a different day. The day after that recording, the intro recording. I'm not sure if I mentioned, what was it? What was I going to say? Sorry, guys. I'm not sure if I mentioned if I messed up this front here. Sorry, I remember now. I'm not sure I don't remember if I mentioned if I messed up this front nose piece. And speaking of the nose piece, this is the GoPro Hero 3 nose piece using the GoPro Hero 3 mount for my GoPro Hero 3. I think this is the white edition, whichever one that has a Wi-Fi. There it is. And also my 6 batteries that I have for it. Yes, I have 6 batteries. The GoPro batteries do not last long. But yeah, I messed up, and I messed up one thing to make this a little bit better. And if I can pull it out with one hand, there we go. If you could tell here, there's supposed to be little wooden pieces that are supposed to go here to hold in these magnets. And instead, I kind of just went ahead in the build and glued the magnets on kind of where I thought the magnets should be. And now the alignment's a little funny. Now, like, this front canopy doesn't really sit on this like ledge right here. This ledge right here that well. So, but it still works. It still connects. So, I'm happy. I'm very grateful that works. So, yeah. But you guys saw that. And, well, now let's move to the ESC. Even though the ESC is in the back, but because I have the sticker here, we'll know what the ESC is very easily. So, you already saw the GoPro Hero 3 mount. Then we have my trusty Eachine C100T camera that I also run in my Esky, but used to run in my Volantex. And I say used to is because now my Volantex is gone. Actually, speaking of the Volantex, the Eachine C100T, and since we're talking about it now, my video transmitter is the Eachine TX5258. Both of these came off of the Volantex. I know it's sad. The Volantex was my biggest plane, and I do miss it. But I flew it. It took off, and when I tried to turn, it would stall at the air. I'm only inferring it really just didn't want to turn. Instead, it would just stall out the air. I can only infer that it wasn't nose heavy enough, and that's pretty much the only thing I could think of, and that's probably the real reason why it happened. But I'd get the salvage parts and save some money from my $185 final total on this, and just save some money. That's including the airframe as well, not just the electronics. So, like I said before, the ESC is a fly color 45 amp 3 to 6S X BL Heli ESC. This is a really good ESC that I got off AliExpress. Like I said, or like every build overview I've ever done, all the links to everything down in the description where I bought them from personally, so that hopefully they're in stock for you as well. Yep, 45 amp ESC. From other planes like this guy, which I'll talk about more in the outro and why you haven't seen much of him, is I usually use this Hack RC. See if I can get it here. I usually use, can I find it? Where is she? Oh, here's the SNL from the Volantex, but off topic. But here, I usually use this Hack RC 35 amp ESC, and that is honestly the main one I do use. But I just decided for the same price that I get that from USA shipping, I can get a more amp one, a 45 amp, all the way back here, for the same price. But the only difference is this would be Chinese shipping, which is really not truly Chinese. AliExpress standard shipping is truly not Chinese. But let's just say it is Chinese because it's from AliExpress. Chinese shipping for a higher amperage and not so slow delivery date. So it took about 2 weeks to come here, and it was really good. And so far, I like the ESC. I can also go into my BL Heli protocol on my laptop and also calibrate it, but I don't think I need it. I think it's calibrated enough. So that's the ESC because the sticker's here. So now next thing to move on is to our main flight controller. The reason why this thing even flies in the first place. And that is my Maytech F411 WSC board, which I've ran in the Reptile, which I also run in that. And it's just a very useful board. Actually, a cool story about this board is when I was soldering this thing up, and I just got it in the mail. I mounted this. This is actually a different bottom plate than the top plate. So if you guys know the Maiden F411 board, it comes in. It's a two plate. It's a two stack. One stack at the top, which is where all these connections are, and the other stack, which is where the battery connects, and also where the ESC connects to it. And I remember I was soldering, and I soldered the battery connector into the actual what's it called? Into the bottom board, where the battery and the ESC connects to, because I wanted to make sure that my GPS worked, because I accidentally messed up on the soldering, or I thought I did, on the pins that I have here in the GPS, on the GPS pins, and I thought I messed up the soldering. I thought it wasn't having good contact with the board to get signal. So when I soldered the battery connector and I plugged it in, the bottom plate of the Maiden board caught on fire, and I really don't know why. And it literally caught on fire, like literally on my bed too. Let me see if I can find that. Let's see if we can go dig. Is it down here? I'm not sure. I remember. Hold up, just give me a second. I remember it being somewhere, but it literally made a burn mark on my cover, this white cover I have on my sheet. It literally made a burn mark, and I remember I had to go outside and I plugged it in. I plugged it in with this battery, which we'll talk about this battery in a second. And but yeah, I mean, it caught on fire, but luckily, because of I will mention this later, and the reason why I even have an extra bottom plate chilling in this drawer right here. I got that bottom plate from that drawer, like I said, and I soldered it up, and now it works perfectly. So I'm not mad. I almost lost an entire $35 board that took 2 weeks to get to my house for some reason, but luckily I had that spare from the failure of this Maiden board to use on my new one. But now we're good. Everything works. It holds everything and power everything. Next to that, obviously, you can see is a Maiden, a Bishi and 220 GPS, very trusty GPS. I have it in this plane. I used to have it in the Reptile. It is a very good GPS. GPS is even the Bishi and 180. I would have a problem with, but yeah. And I don't know if you guys can see right next to that is the TBS Crossfire antenna, TBS Crossfire Nano RX receiver. And then the antenna wire comes in here, down into the receiver, and then this is the TBS Crossfire antenna, which is a Immortal T going out from both sides. That is glued in as well. That's why I'm able to lay it down like this, and it doesn't want to pop out. But yes, TBS Crossfire, so I can use it with my Radio Master TX16S running the full TBS Crossfire TX. So, you know, that's the main difference I will say with this build, besides the camera quality. And of the action camera that I have in it, but everything else is the same from the Reptile. The Reptile had the C100T. The Reptile had the Maiden F411. The Reptile had the Bishi and 220. I guess the difference also was the motor, but the same prop they used, and also ESC. But the main difference of this build and the mistake I made with the Reptile is the receiver, which now I have a very long range system. As you guys can tell, this is a 2-watt capable full TX. So now I have a very trustworthy system. And I also already have the failsafe set up, which is also another problem that I had. But yes, this thing is truly now a long range plane, including the battery, which is also off the Volantex. And that is, and I've mentioned this before, a 7,000 milliamp 3S 2P 3S Lion battery, which is a huge battery, which fits in like this all the way at the front, and it sits in just nice and perfect like that. This Velcro I have from the dollar store is absolutely amazing. The battery will never fall out, trust me. Yeah, I'm good, so I don't need no straps or nothing. But yes, it is a battery. It does not weigh that much, honestly. And I have weighed the plane with a battery within the camera, in the nose, and this antenna on it, and with the prop and everything. So everything installed as if I was going to go fly it. I did weigh the plane, and it comes pretty much exactly at 2 pounds. It's about 1.9 pounds. So 879 grams. So this plane is not the heaviest plane, the heaviest wing in the world, but it's also not really the lightest. So it's I don't think it's gonna be a problem. But yeah, it's very basic build. This is a wing. This is a older wing. That's why they have the GoPro Hero 3 front cover, and it's a very, very basic wing. One thing I forgot to mention was the servos. These are off the Volantex ASW28 as well. These are actually the flap servos, so they're a little bit stronger than the normal servos, which it doesn't really matter. The flap servo and the normal servos are pretty much, I think they're pretty much the same. So, but besides that, yeah, guys, I mean, this is a very basic build. Without the video transmitter and the camera, I think I calculated with the airframe, oh, I didn't even mention the SunnySky. Sorry, getting out of topic, but my motor is a SunnySky A2212 2450 kV motor. Very, very nice motor. So far, it sounds amazing. It runs smoothly, at least on the bench. We're going to see the efficiency with the 7x6E prop, same prop that I use on the Reptile. I think when I remember seeing the Reptile and I remember seeing the GPS speed, it said, I think I reached around 60 to 70 miles an hour. That was with a 2207 2100 kV motor from SunnySky. This is a 2212 2450 kV motor, SunnySky motor. So they're both SunnySkys, different cans, different kV ratings. So I'm hoping that I can hit I can hit at least 50 miles an hour in this plane. I'm pretty sure I hit 70 miles an hour with the Reptile because I was going with the wind and not against the wind. But, you know, we'll still say that it did. So, you know, I'll still take the credit for that 70, which is pretty fast. But that was also on a LiPo. So the amperage on this is around 40 amps constant. I think this doesn't do more than 40 amps. Surprisingly, you would think that it would. Or maybe it does and just the current sensor doesn't work. But I did calibrate the current sensor, so that's all fine and stuff like that. But like I said, yeah, this is a very basic build and all that stuff. A couple things to note that I'm also having some concerns is just these servos lasting a long time. I hope they don't get overwhelmed, which if they're in an ASW28 that weighs like 5 pounds, I know they were the flap servos and they weren't like the elevator servo, but the elevator servo is pretty much this servo. So if the elevator servo can keep up with a plane that literally weighs 5 pounds at the way I had it, the ASW28, I'm pretty sure it can keep up with a plane that weighs half that or a little bit less than half that. Also, another thing I'm concerned about is this control horn right here. What happened was, so if you guys know it's called the AR wing. It is that there's two screws that connect onto the bottom plate, or I could just show you. There's two screws that connect onto the bottom plate. Oh wait, I actually can't show you, but but if you guys know what I'm talking about. There's two screws that connect to the bottom plate that holds down the control horn. And the thing is, the one screw actually got stripped, and I only had one screw connecting, so I had to use two different screws. And now there's technically still only one screw holding that on, but I did glue down the control horn. So I'm really hoping that this control horn doesn't rip off out of nowhere, like when I'm climbing. I know for a fact if I go down elevator, it's not going to do that. But I you never know, you know what I'm saying? But we'll find out. This is a plane, so these control horns are not going to be under very much stress besides like climbing. And maybe not even climbing, they'll be up a lot of stress. Maybe the most stress that they'll take for a long period of time is during stabilized flight mode when the plane's trying to keep the nose up. And I think that's about it. But I think I'm very optimistic that they won't come off. The control horns on the Reptile I was also skeptical about, and I also glued them down. But I have lifted it like this before, or like with both my hands touching both, and I have like shaked it up and down, and there's really no budge to this one. This one's fine. Both screws are okay, but yeah. So, yeah, guys, this is a very basic build. And I am guessing, I already have a timer predicted on my remote, and I am guessing 45-minute flight time. Definitely more than what this plane had. And well, this plane has, sorry, not had. This plane still works perfectly. And I think I can go really, really far with this. Even to the point where if I really want to take the long range seriously, I think I'm really considering a My Fly Dream mini crossbow antenna tracker, which would be very, very nice. And I think I will buy it very, very soon. But let's get back on the bench since we've talked about pretty much everything. The matrix board, the GPS, the receiver, the ESC. And, sorry, last off-track thing, I'm really not going in order, I'm just doing this as I go, is I'm a little concerned about one more thing, including that control horn. I'm also a little concerned with the wire that I had to connect to the ESC. So when I got this motor in, I thought the motor wires were long enough to like reach out so that I can direct solder to like here. The motor wires come up to here, so I could direct solder the motor wires to the actual ESC. That wasn't the case. It was just barely short enough. So I had to take out the motor and solder on this wire, this black wire right here. And the reason why I say I'm so nervous is because that's about 20 or 22 gauge wire. And this motor will draw amps at full throttle at least. And I've done a bench test to get the current sensor running. And I did, after I did the full throttle test, for like a minute, I did feel the wire, and they were not hot, but they were definitely getting warm. So I'm hoping with the air flowing in through the top and just the air flowing in through this little hole, that this black wire will be okay. I don't think I'm gonna have just a random burn in my plane. I think with the air, the motor, the wires, the silicone wires will be fine. But now let's go to my bench. After I've said all that, now let's go to my bench, do the outro, and yeah, you guys obviously know my build overviews are pretty long because I like to talk and give you as much information as possible so you guys have the least amount of questions possible. All right, let's go to the outro. Well, you guys saw this beautiful plane I built, this very old, but like I said, I think I remember saying before, this very old but very not obsolete airplane. I got that reference from Terminator. Old but not obsolete. And this plane is still a very reliable long-range option for you people out there. Even though Sonic Models already made the Air Wing Pro, and the Air Wing Pro is probably the better wing out of these two. But if you want something very cheap, because this thing, I swear, the kit was literally $53. If you want to see a picture of that, go down to my Instagram. It's there. Sorry, just readjusting the camera. Go to my Instagram, links down below. Like I said before in the intro, it is there. But with the 7,000 milliamps, I'm hoping that I can get with the Lion as well, so that the voltage can go really low. I'm really hoping that I can get 40 minutes, if even possible. If I really cruise, an hour of flying, which is great. Sadly, the Volantex is gone. Like I said before, what can I do about that? I think it was just too tail heavy. Even though when I tried to do the CG, it was nose heavy. I know for a fact. I'm not a novice. I'm not a noob, or at least I think I'm not a noob. But yeah, like I said, the main difference and the mistake that I did on the first wing build, INAV wing build, which is the Reptile, is the antenna or the receiver, which now I'm running a real receiver. Those Fly Sky receivers are good for close range, never long range. And now I have a true long range bird. Hopefully the motor ESC wire is okay, and also this control horn is all right. So with that said, we got some other stuff to talk about. And this is one of these outros where I start talking about multiple stuff, and it turns out to be very long, but we're going to do it. First thing is the reason why you guys haven't been seeing any FPV footage, at least from my planes, and because I will say that because a couple weeks ago from the date that I'm posting this, not a couple weeks, like a week or 2 weeks before, I did fly the Esky right on top of me, and it flew absolutely beautiful. And the reason why I haven't been flying the Esky more often was because I had a problem with like I couldn't go full throttle. The motor would just cut out, and then the whole flight controller would just reboot, and it was very scary. I was like, I am not flying this plane if I want to go full throttle and it just reboots mid-air. That would be terrible. So when the Volantex died, or when it crashed, and I salvaged literally every electronic on it, I saw the opportunity to replace the PMU from the SNL and also the SNL flight controller just itself, and that worked. That actually worked. So now I can go full throttle on this thing and not worry about the whole system rebooting, which was probably my favorite thing in the world that day. I was so excited to the point where the day I had a free time, I literally woke up at 9 o'clock and I went to go fly. It was beautiful as well, because I also brought my 2200 3S and I tested to make sure it returned to home, altitude hold, everything was working. And then when I landed, I went to go on my real long range flight. And I think if I remember how the farthest I went, I think was about, I didn't go as far as the reptile, because for some reason I couldn't stay within the beam of my triple feed patch antenna, and I would just lose video signal. I wasn't nervous because I had the crossfire in my Esky, so I knew I had satellites, and I also had good connection RSSI. So I would just hit return to home and I let it come back by itself, and when I get FPV footage, I'll look. But now that's all fixed, and I really wish I had footage. I thought I bought an external DVR for my monitor right here, because the internal DVR of the eSheen monitor, the LC5, whole bunch of numbers, actually broke, and I bought a eSheen EV100 goggles DVR, because I saw that Archangel had his monitor hooked up to an external DVR, which is exactly the one I bought, and I think this monitor's got to go. The AV ports don't work, and the only problem was when I went to go check the recording. I mean, I had a flight that literally lasted almost 30 minutes, and the only reason why I touched down, the only reason why I stopped around 26 minutes, and the only reason why I stopped was because I went to go do a low pass, and it was grass, and I didn't consider, I forgot that I have humongous landing gear. So when I didn't realize I touched ground, because I was in FPV, by the way. I was in FPV. I was looking at the monitor the whole time, and I wanted to see a low pass, and I didn't realize I touched ground until I was like, why can't I go up? And that was because the grass was a little bit taller and the problem was I was pretty much at the end of the battery. So I almost made it for 30 minutes. So this is a 30-minute plane right here. This thing can go pretty far. And yeah, I had such an amazing flight. I'm gonna show a picture of what I remember from having memory. I think around 3,000 feet away, and then I lost FPV footage and I put up. But I'll show a picture of what that looks like on Randall's Island, and hopefully, if I'm correct and the direction that it went, it was pretty far, or at least I made it off Randall's Island itself. So I know this say I was going to show a photo of just a quick detour, but I know this say I was going to show a photo of how far I went with the Esky from my memory. So we're just going to come here. I already have the map set up of Randall's Island. This is field 20 to 40. And I was sitting around right here between field 18, and I'm pretty sure this is field 15 right here. Yeah, field 19, sorry. So I was sitting right here between field 18 and field 19, right at this bench right here. So we'll put a measurement right there. And this is the great thing about Google is, and then we just put another dot, and then now we can move it to whatever length we went. So with that said, if I remember correctly, I went about this way. So here's New York Post. So before I even go on, this right here, all of this right here is Randall's Island. All of this. If you guys can see my cursor, all of this. And Randall's Island ends right here in Bronx-Kill River. So this little river separates from the entrance over here. This little river separates what's it called? Separates Randall's Island, which is technically Queens, to South Bronx. So look at South Bronx right here. So South Bronx is all right here. See South Bronx right there. So this little waterway separates Randall's Island to South Bronx. So with that said, if I remember, I went about this way, and I was going about past this hill. So now I'm out of Randall's Island by this time. If I remember, I went about 3,100 feet, something like that. So 3,100 feet. And I remember crossing over this bridge. So, and going on to this one, which is this is actually another bridge that connects Bronx to thing. This is actually the railroad that Amtrak uses to get through Randall's Island and all that stuff. So I crossed the Amtrak road, and I kept on going. So I went about 3,100 feet. I already passed New York Post, and went about 3,100 feet, and so it was right around there. So honestly, I pretty much made it a pretty good amount of distance. I mean, 3,000 feet is very impressive. It might not be the 4,000 feet that I had from over here to here when I lost my reptile, but it's still a very impressive feat considering that I could have gone farther. The problem was I couldn't stay within the beam of the triple feed patch antenna. So that's why I want to get a My Fly Dream Mini crossbow antenna tracker, because it would make life a lot easier. The Crossfire has no problem with range like this. I think I still had like 90 RSSI. And the antennas probably weren't even lined up. Honestly, it's really hard to line up the antennas, but I feel like I don't need the crossbow. I don't need an antenna tracker right now. But if I can stay within the beam of the antenna like I did with the reptile, I can go really far, especially with the Crossfire receiver. So with that said, whenever I get a chance to fly, I will do it, obviously. Alright, cool. Now back to the outro. But yeah, I was mad and all that stuff. So that's stuff with the Esky, and that's why I haven't been posting. I would have posted that 30-minute video gladly. I even met a guy out there that was really nice, so yeah. Alright, before I go on, I'm not sure where I'm going to put this video. It may be at the end, the very end of the video, or it may be where I mention this, but I actually found that the whole time that I've been flying my planes without DVR, because like I said before, my Ishin DVR for my monitor I thought was broken. So the whole time it actually wasn't broken. And I figured this out last night. So if you want to see my OSD, I'm going to put the OSD of how I have it set up. And I'll just put a little clip at the end with my dog getting scared that I moved the chair. And it's just a little quick clip to show that my internal DVR on my Ishin is working. So 100% when I make the video for this Maiden, I don't know how to do this though. For this Maiden, I'll be having the GoPro footage in the middle and the OSD in the bottom left, and it will be absolutely beautiful. But yes, if this is at the end of the video, peace out guys, like I said in the outro. And if it's where I put it when I mentioned it, then you guys will be seeing me midway through. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but if you see this, you know my internal DVR now works. All right, see you later. The next thing I'm talking about, like I said, was the Nano Sky Hunter. I'm really hard at doing this. The Nano Sky Hunter, that thing is pretty much done. I am literally missing just a working flight controller. The last two flight controllers I put in this thing, they just don't respond to the USB. And then once the USB is gone, they just don't turn on at all. So I'm literally going to buy one more. I'm hoping this one more is the third time's the charm. I'm really hoping this is true. The first board I bought, the same thing happened. After a while, it just stopped connecting to Maytech. Sorry, to the INAV configurator, and I just couldn't. It was dead. Then what I did was I realized that same thing that happened to this to the Air Wing is the top plate holds all the information in, and the bottom plate is only the plate for power. So what I mean by that is, if you know, like I said, the Maiden F411 board is a double stack board, so there's the bottom plate, there's the top plate. The top plate is where it holds all the settings from your configurator. So whatever altitude you picked, I think it also holds the barometer, the altimeter, everything. The top plate is the information board. The bottom plate is the CPU slash power board. So I replaced the top plate, and for like a brief second, it worked. The top plate, so that's when I got the bottom plate. I had extra lying around in my drawer. So with that said, I thought, okay, now I'm done. And then soon after, the same thing happened. Once the USB would stop transmitting to INAV configurator, the whole board just died. And even when you power it on, those little blue lights and orange lights that go up on the Maiden board just stop working. So I'm not sure the problem is. I don't think it's the bottom plate at all, because the bottom plate worked perfectly whenever I had the INAV configurator up when it was working. I even checked the motor. The motor spins the right way. So I'm going to get one more top plate, and I'm going to pray, and I'm going to mean pray, that it works. So yeah, I know this outro is long, and I know this video is very long, but I really, really hope you guys stick with me and don't get discouraged and click off. With that said, I was hoping to actually go fly the next day of this recording, which is August, was it 27th? I was really hoping to go fly August 28th. Problem is New York weather, and it's going to be raining all day, and I'm just not going to take the chance of getting my electronics wet. Not all day, I think it's only 20%, but in the morning, and I'm just not going to take the chance of getting my electronics wet. But with that said, when I do fly, I won't be having FPV footage. I will be having only the GoPro Hero 3 footage. So I hope you guys are okay with that. I would have posted the reptile footage, but the problem is I never had a thumbnail and all that stuff. But if you want me to post the reptile footage, let me know. I'll probably post it at the end of the Maiden of this guy. And yeah, but I'm gonna find a way to get DVR footage so that I can record all my planes. Like these two planes right here, they're literally only FPV DVR, and I don't have a DVR, which sucks because I would have made a 30+ minute video of this flying for so long. What can I say, man? That stuff happens. I can also get, you know what? I'm just gonna save it. I'll save it for when I figure it out. All right, and yeah, I do want to get that My Fly Dream mini crossbow, so I think I will get it. I think I will invest my money in something that actually works and is truly plug and play. But with that said, it's been your boy, the New York Hobbyist. I appreciate you guys being here with me. If you guys watched the whole video, I love you, and it's just amazing that you did, and you are literally a real one. But if you didn't and you skipped, because I do have the little timestamps, that's all right. As the fact that you even clicked on my video, I am so grateful for. Truly am. All right, it's been your boy, the New York Hobbyist. Stay safe, be nice, go fly, go drive, voice crack, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Keep flying RC, stay up, be safe. Like I said again.